Storm Spirit.
Welcome back, everyone. Sorry about that. We had small technical issues, but we're finally here with the first game of the defense. It's going to be Power Rangers versus 4 Clovers and a Leprechaun, and we also have the reveal of the Monkey Business team later on today. So you'll definitely want to check out all of those. Durka, you excited for the night?
Oh, I can't wait. NoTell's new team, not seen them play yet, but I actually cannot wait to see. Because rumored, I don't know if it's fully announced or if it's actually confirmed, because we haven't actually got too much information from them. But NoTell back to mid, it's going to be super cool. Because back in Hon, his main heroes, things like Puck and things like that. Mm-hmm. Obviously not really meta heroes right now, but I actually cannot wait to see him play it.
Yeah. All right. A Skywrath Mage for 4C&L, who already had the Gyrocopter, Storm Spirits, Earthshaker, PL, and Queen of Pain for the Power Rangers here. I like the... I'm a bit concerned always when I see a PL picked up. Like, that hero is just so strong to me right now, just because there are not enough hard counters in the hero pool to deal with that hero. And they already have one of the better counters, which is the Earthshaker. So I'm already a big concern for 4C&L. They do have a decent heroes in the Gyrocopter and Storm Spirit. Storm Spirit's not bad in trying to shut down the Phantom Lancers in some of the early game. We've talked about how the Gyrocopter can be quite powerful.
Skywrath Mage with the silence, you can keep him locked down for a short while, but once he gets the Diffusal Blade, just purge off the silence and doppelganger yourself away. And I think that's one of the biggest issues, because early on, you kind of want the AoE clear to deal with his illusions, and then, focus him down, find the real one before he does get to rush himself out of a sticky situation. Mm-hmm. But then in the mid-game, when Storm has got his Bloodstone and then Orchid, which is, the kind of regular progression for a Storm in a good spot, the Orchid is pretty much always going to come too late. The PL will have that Diffusal and have a way out. You kind of need to, dogpile on him to try and finish him off.
So in that case, I don't feel there are too many supports that are particularly strong counters to the Phantom Lancers. So taking a look at the offlaners, what's really left in your mind that 4C&L can pick up? They don't have the opportunity to go for the Darkseer, which is okay for early harassment. The Earthshaker would be an obvious one, but that's Rangers. It seems like Clock is really all that's left, but
how does he have the Dazzle harass? Because you throw out one Poison Touch, a couple of Lancers, Clockwork doesn't have the safety of the jungle or the guarantee of the jungle farm to go back. I mean, if it's going to be a dual lane of PL Dazzle, which is more likely than not, with Earthshaker probably sitting behind the Queen of Pain and stacking jungle. We don't see the offlaner yet from Power Rangers. They kind of got the book open still for that one, but more likely than not, it is going to be the Dazzle PL dual lane. Clockwork can do okay there. It's not the best, but get a nice little observer down. As long as you keep vision on the Dazzle especially, you can still get yourself some experience.
Yeah.
Kotal.
Not really what I expected. That's for sure. I guess the Keeper of the Light does have an early nice AoE nuke that can clear through PL. Okay, so they're going to be doing a dual lane then. So it's going to be Skywrath Mage babysitting the Gyrocopter, Storm Spirit mid, and we have a Coddle what?
Jungling.
I think it's a Cuddle +1 in the offlane to try and keep the PL down early, because there's no offlane. Like Clockwork would do very poorly. Most of the other strong offlaners are already out of the pool. I mean, heroes like Phoenix, they're just not going to accomplish anything. I feel like you have to somehow put some sort of pressure on the PL early on, but I'm not sure what the Coddle combination would be here, because normally I'd look to Tusk, but Tusk was already banned away by PR in that second banning phase.
Does it have to be anything in particular, really? Because I know Demon, over the weekend, talked about this a couple of times, that if you know your opponents are going for a safe lane dual lane, if you put the Keeper of the Light in an aggressive dual lane, you basically just spam the hell out of them with that Illuminate. You can even, their Radiant side as well. So you can even stack up the large camp, you can contest the pull spot. There's so many things you can do with the Keeper of the Light that you're going to be putting your offlaner in a 1v1 against their safe lane carry. So the Kotal can kind of 1v1 the Dazzle, and he's going to win that. Illuminate spam, stop him getting experience, and really control the support. So now Power Rangers are in this position where either they put the Earthshaker up there to help a lot more, or they pick a secondary support here to go for a defensive tri-lane. But that obviously opens things up for Gyro Skyrath to win bot, and Storm to have a decent time mid with the Queen of Pain matchup.
And then you're just looking to win the mid game with Gyrocopter, Storm Spirit, and snowball from there, which is, I would say, a pretty easy ask as long as your laning phase goes well. So I like this Spirit Breaker ban. I suppose the hero would have been able to put a lot of pressure and make sure the Storm Spirit does win his middle lane, no matter what sort of laning situation they're actually going for here. An off-lane Spirit Breaker can at least rotate out of his lane and put pressure on mid. And again, I feel like the Storm Spirit's farm is going to be essential here. He is Radiant side, though, so, as you said earlier, Keeper of the Light can stack. They also have the Storm Spirit who can stack for himself, a hard camp, medium camp that he's nearby. And then the last man out was a Disruptor here. Assuming that PR are going to be running an offlane Earthshaker here, and there still needs to be another support in the pool. Definitely one of the easiest counters to Storm Spirit.
Yeah, when you look at the sort of balance of the two drafts, Radiant is very heavily focused on farming, it looks like. Storm, Gyro, Keeper of the Light, they all like to spam out neutral camps and get that gold advantage. Whereas Power Rangers, it seems a lot more about, trying to win the laning phase and then fight in case. That glimpse would have completely ruined 4C&L. The fact they've got Phantom Rush, Fissure, Blink from Quap, and then Disruptive Glimpse back into things like Static Storm for the Storm Spirit, and whoa!
You know what would be hilarious? If they actually ran the Sexy Bambo off-lane Tiny, but with a Keeper of the Light next to it.
Oh god.
That's a spamming hero. And then I could also see them doing something like off-lane Keeper of the Light. Like, this is Sexy Bambo that we're talking about. Like, he has some very interesting ideas on what kind of heroes that you can run in the offlane. It does oftentimes catch teams by surprise, such as that offlane Tiny that we were talking about before. Still a full minute left for 4C&L, but we do have a last pickup of Clockwork for Power Rangers, and they are going to be putting that Earthshaker in the support position. So I would say a pretty decent hero to put pressure on the Gyrocopter. You're looking for that early Blade Mail, though, both against Gyro, Skyrath Mage. Keeper of the Light does have some defensive capabilities against Clockwork, but it only comes till once you're level 6. With the Blinding Light, you can push him outside of the cogs that you're trapped in with. And obviously, he's not going to be that effective versus Storm Spirit when it comes to kill power, but he can potentially set up situations with a hook shot and a cogs push rather than trying to trap the clock or the Storm Spirit in the cogs.
See, it's situations like this where I kind of wonder, the way the draft has progressed, in the final phases, offlaners have been kind of banned out with the Darkseer, Spirit Breaker, the Tusk was banned out a little bit earlier. Whether or not 4C&L were banking on getting the Clockwork, because hook shot, cogs, Mystic Flare, age-old combo. But Power Rangers know about that, and this clock pick is not only pretty decent for them, but it's also a pretty good block pick against 4C&L, but Beastmaster will be the final hero there.
Yeah, Beastmaster still combos pretty well with the Skyrath, any sort of lockdown mage, and you could actually run a dual lane with this. Keeper of the Light plus Beastmaster spamming, but I doubt it. Spamming Wild Axes, I kind of doubt it. I think they are going to be running that more stack-focused Keeper of the Light that you were talking about before, which will pay really big dividends with the Gyrocopter and Storm Spirit, who could both utilize those stacks fairly early on.
Yeah? Oh, what's going on? I go through use.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you do.
I just wondering, I've never seen that before.
Oh, the permanent mute button?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I am muted in game.
Yeah.
Oh, well.
Alright. So, well, we have a slight pause. I suppose we can always cut back to our lovely selves because we didn't show off the studio enough.
It's so pretty.
Odds here? PR versus 4C&L now that you've seen the draft?
This is like classic PR. If they do well in the first, 8 minutes, the laning phase, I think they could just, run away with this.
Yeah.
Because of how farm reliant Radiant are. But if they let slip with, a couple of jungle camps, if they don't ward the jungle, they don't contest, if they don't stop ancient stacking, because both Beastmaster and Gyro now can really utilize the ancients.
Yeah, certainly.
4C&L have ways to get back into it, so it's going to come down to how aggressive and how kind of... I see PR always having great execution, but in this game it has to be kind of immaculate. The fact that there are multiple heroes here that can actually make things work for 4C&L and come back into the game.
Yeah. I'm kind of thinking that so much is going to be on this Earthshaker support, for both sides. If the Earthshaker is successful and keeps the Storm Spirit down by rotating over, help the Queen of Pain get 1, maybe 2 early kills, and that he's still able to rotate back up to top, maybe catch out the Beastmaster. I mean, it is Radiant side, so it's a little bit easier to get that block off, I think, as an Earthshaker in the support position. So if he's able to essentially keep both the offlaner and the mid down, I think you could very easily see... Oh, we're going to jump right back into the game. I think you could very easily see the Queen of Pain just going and taking over the game from there.
Where do you think Skywrath starts the game? Because the Queen of Pain Storm matchup, early on, Storm really wants to get up into the creep wave and Remnant get last hits, but Shadow Strike, right clicks come out, and Quap, I'm guessing, Null, two pool tangos should have the upper hand. Skywrath Mage, we've seen a hell of a lot actually moving towards mid to zone out and make sure that you secure the first wave and a half or so, the first 45 seconds for...
Yeah, he's easily, I would say, the best mid when it comes to harassing down the enemy mid laner, just because of the fact you are using your arcane bolts rather than right clicks, so you're not drawing creep aggro, right? So I would say that's probably a very valuable way to make sure the Storm Spirit has a decent start in lane for the first couple of CS to start working towards that fast bottle. Because you can see the Storm Spirit did go for a slightly more regen focused build where you've got the 2 shared goes and the early HP potion without the bounty rune, but this also is the kind of build that allows you to go for a faster bottle and instead of focusing on the early CS, which is usually the Null Talisman build. So for me, that says Saksa is definitely going to get that middle lane for the first couple of, the first minute, just to make sure the early CS is there for Pycat to pick up that bottle.
Sentries over on the Keeper of the Light. They need to find this ward, but Cheshire Cat TP down, got his obs very quickly into this Radiant jungle. And it's in a pretty interesting spot. Well,
yeah, this is one of those hard left warding spots that is right on the line that most traditional counter wards are not going to be able to find. Usually you place the counter ward in order to find in this area, but it's too far away. The Radiant side camp is so hard to counter ward. I think in order to make 100% sure that you get it, you need 4 counter wards, which is absurd.
The trading of blows at mid, oh my god. It's ridiculous. She comes in with a Shadow Strike to harass Pycat. Saxka just stands up on the high ground to get Ditchira. But Salve is blocked by both mids, and it's a pretty even exchange so far. Last hit-wise, the Queen of Pain is definitely not happy, though.
Yeah, certainly not. Pycat, meanwhile, just needs a few more CS, and he will have that battle. The Fisher was picked out there. J4 actually looking for the block off. Couldn't quite get it, though he does get a lot of damage on Sakska, and probably will force that support back now.
And Bambo. 1v1 Dazzle, big he can get the right clicks out and harass him down, but with boots plus boar, they need a little bit more. Jackal on this Phantom Lancer needs to get up in his face a little bit.
Sexy Bambo trying to go for the hard camp. Looks like he will be able to get it at the same time that Big Num is... No, Sexy Bambo was a bit late. He managed to just barely pull the range creep, but as it is, Jackal can still very easily keep this creep equilibrium to his favor. Oh, Pycat not quite blocked out by that Fisher, and does now have his bottles, so he should be a happy camper, at least for the next minute or so. See whether or not... Doesn't look like he's going to be able to get the 2-minute rune unless he wants to run all the way down to the bottom lane, so he's probably just going to bottle Crow, which at 2 minutes in is going to be a very slow process, seeing as there's no upgrade. Oh,
forward.
J4 just barely managing to bag
Did you
that
rob it?
rune. Oh, PR! He's at the health potion up through the one. He needs to be able to damage the trees, but Pycat still gets him. Can't believe he tried for that one. Meanwhile, 60 Bambo limps away from J4 after being unable to steal away that bounty room.
He went for the courier sniper. It went up to 12 HP, needed one hit more. But Queen of Pain giving away a death there to Pycat. Maybe now gets his revenge. Had a struck and a few right clicks out. They've got the Earthshaker. No mana. No mana for Fisher.
Yeah. Yeah, well, he looked real nervous there. He was like starting running down the river and everything, but then he realizes as the aggression stops that Earthshaker didn't have the mana for the Fisher block, which could have actually killed him. So, safe lane heroes, 14-11 on Jackal, doing an incredibly good job keeping the equilibrium around their tower and making sure Seki Bambo doesn't get any early experience, which I think is very critical because once the Beastmaster gets level 3, and he has the level 2 Wild Boar.
So much more HP.
Oh, there's no way the support can handle that kind of harassment at that point.
Well, you need. It goes from needing like 4 hits to needing what 8 or something. It pretty much doubles the support's workload over on that boar. But you take a look at the red jungle, the amount of stacking that's going on here. EGM is clearing through the large camp and also stacking up medium while he's at it.
Yeah, EGM is probably going to have a decent amount of farm. Soxka actually is level 3 now. I'm presuming a lot of it being from the levels that he soaked up in the middle lane, but still, probably a very happy camper with where he's at, looking to pick up that early level 6 so he can combine himself with Sexy Bambo and just routinely pick off hero after hero.
Earthshaker, though, the hero that you really pinpointed as being sort of the avenue to success here for Power Rangers, is still level 1. He has been moving from top to mid, but a lot of the time he's expended has been focused on this middle lane.
Oh, this middle lane, unless something dramatic happens, is completely lost. The fact that the Queen of Pain already died early on sort of said, okay, this lane is probably lost, but now...
block off at mid. Top even.
Yes,
Bambo.
Sexy Bambo. He's going to be done here. Jackal's going to be diving into the trees, and they'll be able to pick up that kill. So at least they get something out of this roaming Earthshaker, even if it isn't shutting down the Storm Spirit.
And a low ball back up at top. Go on, Bambo, you can master catapult. Oh, no you can't. Or maybe you can.
Wait. You can heal the
Shadow
wagon?
Wave. You can also purify with Omni Heal. Catapults are crazy things, Cap.
Oh my god. I mean, Shadow Wave at least makes, I don't know, a marginal amount of sense to me because, I don't know, something about the fact that it's physical maybe? I don't know. But, what? Pure?
Yeah.
Alright.
I mean, you can Bloodlust it as well.
Oh, yeah.
And Alacrity. And Alacrity.
And Alacrity.
There's a ton of funky things you can do. Pycat?
Oh, Pycat picks up another one as he grabs his level 6 and uses the regen to be able to pick up the kill on the Queen of Pain. Again, I mean, there was no question in my mind that Queen of Pain would never be able to kill Storm Spirit mid until he, before level 6 rather. But as it is, Pycat actually manages to pick up another kill on the Queen of Pain and is rapidly going to be snowballing in this game. Cheshire Cat looking to be able to interrupt some of this, but will only be able to get one CS. Soxka is actually going to be in a bit of trouble here, but they do have the Gyrocopter here now. Cheshire Cat just fully committing to go for the kill on the Skywrath Mage. He's going to be slowed down now. Swift Ending trying to catch up. Looks like Cheshire Cat should be away. No, actually Phase Boots build on the Gyrocopter. This might allow him to catch up. Cox is up 1 second time. Cheshire Cat should be good. Never mind. Pycat comes in from the middle lane. Will be able to get the couple of shots needed to get the kill, and will actually TP back straight back to base as he is low on mana. Doesn't want to expose himself to losing to Queen of Pain.
And Bambo up at top lane, disrupting the pull through from Big No. He went for the single pull over on the small camp and then wanted to try and drag it over to the large camp as well. But Bambo just says no. Wild Axe is going to stop that. Dazzle trying to go for it again, maybe? Yeah, he gets the big old red one up there.
Board coming into the side, will be able to grab some of the creeps, so that, even if it is just the one melee, this will kind of make things okay for him.
Pycat Invis? Oh, he smoked.
Yeah, smoked up. Going to be able to go for the pick off on Jack. Already forcing out that doppelganger. Sees the real one. Shot wave is out. Big Num needs to be able to get a very critical shot, but couldn't get it. The range too small, and this is why you see some Dazzles go for the early level in Shallow Grave. In situations just like that, now Big Num's going to die as well. The Shadow Wave only really delaying the inevitable. 60 Bambo just 6 the boars after him. Big Num.
Oh, Pycat is out of mana though. He's been chased by the Crop and the Earthshaker. They've got Enchant Totem and they should be able to finish him off. Ditchy Ra, Sonic Wave, don't even need it. That's one more Scream. There we go. I don't know, cutting it a little bit close there.
Oh man, I can't believe Bignum actually survived. The boars didn't dish out enough damage. He was able to get another Shadow Wave and was able to survive. So that dive, well, yes, to pick off on Phantom Lancer, critical to the success of 4C&L. Them feeding away the Storm Spirit and not being able to get the Dazzle as well results in a pretty bad trade, I would say. This is really going to help the Queen of Pain catch back up.
Are they going to TP someone bot now? Because Clockwork has 6, he's hiding over in the trees. I don't know if he's just trying to leech experience here from the... Yeah, that's what he's doing. Leeching XP from the wave a little bit. Try and get yourself that little bit more. Killing off this gyro is still difficult.
I think their supports just aren't the kind of heroes to be able to help out, and the Queen of Pain just rotated up to the top lane, so maybe they're not feeling real charitable about heading for the bottom lane. Plus, it's so rough ganking a gyrocopter anyway. You know how many situations where you try and gank that gyrocopter and he just is able to turn around and get a kill or two before he dies?
Yeah. Maybe with the Grave they'll try it. Dazzle's wandering around, but great observer ward up on the high ground from the Radiant's going to see this.
I think another thing is that Shishir Cat did not fully commit the kill build on Clockwork, went for the early level of Rocket Flare to allow him to get more CS. And I really like this build, but this does significantly drop your kill power at level 7. There's a pretty big difference between a level 3 and level 4 battery assault, and that means all the more against a hero like Gyrocopter, who even just 2 extra seconds means another Rocket Rush. Pycat's gonna die here. I'm not sure that pick off on the hard camp. He was clearing through this stack, but he ends up feeding away another kill to Ditchia Ra, so I'm unsure if that's really worth it. Obviously, when you take a look at the fight recap, it's 940 gold exchange by itself. I highly doubt the hard camp stack was worth that much.
I was just about to bring up the fact that Ditchia Ra was pretty far away from, treads and any meaningful item to progress into Orchid or Aghanim Scepter. That just put him onto treads plus, another 600 gold or so. And then I was going to praise Pycat saying, okay, he's got treads, basically Sorin completed plus bottle. But yeah, you're right, that one kill really has swung things, not massively, but definitely back towards the Queen of Pain.
Well, our good old friend Sheer Cat's looking at the middle lane, eyeing it with his hook shot, but unless they coordinate this really well and essentially use both the Scream and the Sonic Wave during the hook shot and Cogs push timing, they shouldn't be able to kill Pyke here.
Yeah, he's got strength treads, no talisman, 1000 HP. It's going to be rough.
A little bit of dive into Sexy Bamboo, but they are able to get a blast out, which brings a lot of the creep wave low, and will be able to finish it off. Tower taking very minimal amount of damage, and this is a huge advantage to the Keeper of the Light, right? Is controlling the objectives and making sure that you don't give up early map control. You're always able to defend these tier 1 towers.
Yeah, Pycat goes and clears up a little stack over in the large camp, and obviously Keeper of the Light has been really farming across the rest of the jungle.
Ooh. Ditchia Ra. He ends up going down. Looks like an attempted gank in the bottom lane, going for the Gyrocopter, but as we were talking about before, the Gyrocopter able to swiftly turn things around.
That was without Sonic Wave. I'm not even sure how that happens. Because the Skarath was like minus 40 mana, so it's not as though he'd used any big spells. Interesting. But yeah, we're still to see the Radiant Draft sort of come to fruition. The fact that they do have this very farm-heavy lineup. Ancients have been stacked, once? Yeah, they've got Dragons and the Thunder Lizards. But this is kind of the period in time when they've got the stats from things like Braces, the Magic Wands. Bambo is heading straight into that Necro first build that we see, used to see a lot from Mag, actually.
Yeah, and I like this build quite a bit on Beastmaster. Ever since the Necronomicon level 1 and 2 got buffed up, I think it's so much more powerful. EGM fully committing to get as much damage on Shirasa. Maybe Pycat turns things around. The Remnant goes out. A little bit more damage. He will be able to finish him off. That's well worth it for EGM. Plus, they managed to get the tower. In fact, J4, he may go down as well. He desperately needs a TP in. And Dazzle will be able to heal up slightly. And J4 will survive because of that one. Pycat, it's going to be forced to use the ball lightning away from Shishir Cat. He does. Oh, maybe the burst damage is enough. Oh, man. Pycat. I know his fear really was that if he lightninged away, oh, the ultimate comes down. But still, a really good zoning Cogs is going to be able to keep the Gyrocopter back.
And Bambo up at top tries the roll, but Doppelganger says not today.
Oh, he even throws it out, but it's just an illusion. in the end. 6-6 now. Losing Pycat there in the middle lane was huge. I think he wanted to like ball lightning. If he ball lightnings, he would have been hit by the hook shot.
And then Cog trapped, yeah.
Yeah, and then he would have been probably still in trouble. So I think he was just trying to like juke it around and lead them back to his team, but then ends up getting caught by the Fissure before he can jump and just destroyed by Power Rangers. So 12.5 minutes in right now, 2,000 gold lead for 4C&L, 1,000 experience, but that has dropped recently and it's going to drop even further if Swift goes down here at the bottom lane. He certainly will.
You're fully committing. He hasn't used his ultimate yet once game, I don't think. He's had a couple of missed opportunities, but they're very, very adamant that he secures the kill with Sonic Wave. But Pycat's deaths, apart from the one over in the Dire Jungle where he did lose like 230 gold, he's always buying, reasonably big items just before he dies. Like this one right here. He bought booster. The courier was at the shop. He didn't really lose out on too much, but EGM...
Oh, they forced out the blink. Now it's Ditchia at the mercy of Pycat, and Pycat has no mercy, so another kill for the Storm Spirit. Well, 60 Bimbo actually has enough for his first Necronomicon, so things I think are going very well for the Radiant side. They're slightly ahead in Golden Experience, but I think one of the biggest things is that their Golden Experience is not front-loaded on just the Gyrocopter, but the Storm Spirit's getting a lot, as you mentioned. He's top of the net worth board, and even the Beastmaster is doing very well for himself in Gold and in Experience as well. He's level 8 by 13.5 minutes in, given the tough laning situation that it was. Any sort of lane against Appeal is naturally going to be a bit difficult. I think 60 Bimbo can be very happy the way this went. However, he's going to be dying again here. Long range Fissure, Rocket, and a Lance is enough from Jackal to be able to get the kill.
Yeah, if you compare the two supports, you kind of see the Earthshake and Costal both in similar situations where they're both building up into, one key item. The Blink Dagger and Earthshaker, and Aghanim Scepter over on the Keeper of the Light, and he's got enough for a point booster if he wants it. But Skyrath and Dazzle, there's a pretty big disparity between them. 500 gold at this stage of the game is not meaningless.
Cheshire Cat missing out on a hook shot there. Is there any other item you would go besides the Aghanims?
Force Staff. When you mentioned the Necro and the Beastmaster, I thought for a split second we have occasionally seen, the Battle Strength kind of casually picked up for a Necro later on. And against the Clockwork, Force Staff is always that great utility item to get teammates out of trouble.
Right.
But Necro is just so good on Beastmaster. Maybe a Force for EGM, and I'm wondering if that's what he's deciding now. Saving up 1,600, maybe, save up 2,000, think about it. See where things go.
Because then he'll be able to defend himself. Like the Skyrath Mage and the Gyrocopter are at the mercy of a very early Blade Mail Clockwork, and he will have that. He's just going to be spending the rest of his time in his jungle until he finishes up that Broadsword to complete the Blade Mail. So a Force Staff may be necessary to keep himself, the other support alive, as well as probably much more critically, the Gyrocopter. Just because he won't be able to turn around and kill the Clockwork for fear of killing himself on that Blade Mail. So I actually really like the idea quite a bit, but you can also argue at the same time, well, if it's daytime, you've just got such superior team out of an early Aghanim Scepter.
And you get permanent Blinding Light as well, which is push the clock out of cogs whenever he does jump on you.
Yeah, that's actually another good point. That's another way of being able to defend yourself, essentially, against the Clockwork.
Yeah, I think Axe is just such a strong item. Maybe Force Staff gives you that utility where you can also force in the Gyro or the Beastmaster to get the initiation along with the Storm, because they do lack innate mobility. Unless you go with the Blink on the Beastmaster, which probably he'll look for a little bit later on, but Gyro has to go move speed. He's got to try and run forward with the phase drums. What are they up to? Who are they hunting for?
I'm not entirely sure. They have this Hawk that's positioned in the middle lane, so they know nobody's in mid. I'm guessing they just expected the Queen of Pain to push out bottom lane, and they would get that pick off and turn it into a tier 2 tower, but unfortunately the smoke is not finding anybody right now, and that will mean a much harder time for 4C&L to take these objectives, whether it's the tier 2 or, Roshan is also hasn't been claimed yet, and obviously the 4C&L team would have a huge benefit of getting an early Aegis Pycat, especially if he picks up that Bloodstone around the same time. That's really where the Storm Spirit gets nasty.
Earthshake has a blink. He was just given the last wave up atop, and they were actually so afraid hiding behind the tier 1 tower up atop, the three of them, Earthshaker, Dazzle, and PL, just making sure that, J4 doesn't die.
He's going to get a good jump on Pycat here. Gets the Fisher on a couple Sonic Wave. Actually hits the Gyrocopter in the background as well. They're going to throw out the ultimate, just trying to slow things down. J4 pressing forward, but he's got nothing left.
Line it up.
And Clockwork. Oh, he snags some Swift Ending. Is going to be caught here. And now actually cancels his TP, but that means he's just going to die as well. Power Rangers strike it big with J4 managing to pick up the Blink Dagger Arcane Boots by 17.5 minutes. That is an insanely good time, especially given the fact that he didn't pick up a single one of those kills that he facilitated.
He hasn't died. Like, this is one of the biggest things often we talk about offlaners, that, heroes like Phoenix in particular, I think, is a good example, where if you don't die, you just get the tick gold slowly but surely, you get Tranquils, you get your Midas. Dying and losing gold when you're trying to build up into the bigger items like a Blink Dagger, it's a massive deal. And the fact that he's now 007, J4 running around as James Bond, this Earthshaker has done an excellent job. He has been given a little bit more farm priority than maybe you'd expect though, but they know that since the laning phase hasn't really gone their way, they needed that one big burst of teamfight potential that the Earthshaker really gives you, and obviously it never goes away. Defending these tier 1s and tier 2s, as long as you have Hookshot, Echo Slam, and or Sonic Wave, you've got a good way of defending.
Yeah, and you could see that that pretty big turnaround, about a 2,000 gold swing, and quite a number of experience, looks like about 2,500. Bottom lane, middle, 60 Bambo. I think he's going to try and go around Dichira, hit the ultimate with the Skywrath Mage coming in as well. They'd just be able to chain stun him down, but now Beastmaster's actually just going to have to TP out. He will just barely be fine. J4 couldn't get there in time for the Fisher. Bloodstone now for Pycat. At least he didn't have that before that nasty fight at the bottom lane. If he had lost his charges immediately, he would have been a very, very sad person. Looks like the tier 1 tower will be going down. Pycat making sure there's no one left in this jungle area behind the tier 1. Never mind, there's a lot of rotations coming through. Pycat's gonna make the commitment now, but J4 is here. And if he can lead with the Fisher and follow up the Enchant Totem, or maybe they just stop the TP away. Pycat, he couldn't get out. Now gonna be Fisher stunned and bursted as the Sonic Wave once again comes out from Dichira. And Pycat, we're just talking about losing Bloodstone charges. Well, he's already down to 5 now.
And that was great play by the Queen of Pain. Blinks forward, you could have tried to go for the Sonic Wave as soon as you see the Storm, but waiting until J4 got that Enchant Totem, got the Fisher, and they knew they had just enough damage to actually finish him off. Previously, they could force back Jackal, but he's got his Diffusal Blade. Even if he did get silenced up and slowed and maybe chased down, he could just purge it off, doppelganger away, and this is really the power spike of Power Rangers right now. It's the PL with Diffusal Blade, with Boots of Travel. His next big item could actually just, win the game almost. The Phantom Lancer becomes uncontrollable unless you get the jump on him with Ball Lightning, Vortex, Roar. It's so difficult though. You need an Orchid on Storm just to try and allow or facilitate that initiation.
Do you agree if he were to go for a Manta next item, would you agree with that? I know we have the Purge of the Diffusal Blade to be able to get rid of these silences, but it's very likely if Storm Spirit, like we see Storm Spirits all the time still go for the Orchid. So you could have 2 single silences that Manta would actually be quite effective against, and then you could focus a lot on split pushing as well. Or would you much rather see just like a casual Yasha that you immediately go for like a Scotty after that?
I kind of like Manta that it allows you to turn and fight instantly. Like if the Storm jumps in and Orchids you Manta, turn, fight, burn his mana, and allow your team to follow through. Oh man.
This is certainly quite awkward. Swift Ending going to be caught here, and they burst him down quite easily. In fact, in the middle lane, EGM's got a TP out. He's going to go for it now. Jackal reveals him, and Cogs! Oh, Shishu Cat couldn't quite get there in time, and there will be a survivor, but still, that tier 1 tower is certainly not going to be it. It will be yet another casualty of war to 4C&L, continuing to lose space.
Surgical precision.
Oh, Pycat, nice jump in. Jackal's going to be caught. They knew there was going to be a TP rotation eventually. A little bit greedy there from Power Rangers, trying to both take that middle tower and top lane against the Storm Spirit. And that's where 60 Bambo's able to strike. now with that Necronomicon level 3. J4 jumping forward, managed to get the Fisher on a 60 Bamboo in the background there. He does have the rest of his team coming in from the side, so this is not a good idea for 4C&L. Nice block out for Necronomicons, quickly burning through the rest of the mana in the Cheshire Cat. J4 also going to be silenced up, so he's not going to be able to do much there. Slow down on the Cheshire Cat, and Plycat's going to come in for that kill. Shallow Grave actually will be able to save him. Maybe they can turn things around a little bit. Cheshire Cat hoping to be able to turn that one around. Shadow Wave comes in, swift ending though, cleans up a couple. Now going to be able to go for Ditchira as well as he gets silenced up. Disaster strikes his Power Rangers stick around way too long for that team fight, and the rest of 4C&L rotate right in.
From surgical execution that I was just praising them for, to defending that tier 2 twice. Like you said that, TPing the Phantom Lancer in there to try and get the last remnants of defender tier 2, it's greedy. But continuing to actually try and battle it out, not getting the hook shot, not getting that initiation you needed, you kind of just got to leave Clockwork to die there. But getting stuck into that situation where they wanted to save a friend, maybe try and get the Clockwork out, who's going for a Glimmer Cape, I think, here. Yeah, he's got the Shadow Amulet and Cloak. But BKB up on the Gyro now. These are fights which Power Rangers just really cannot afford to lose out on. Giving Storm even more Bloodstone charges. Now he's back up to 9, and he's going to be pretty happy with this.
Meanwhile, 4C&L perhaps learning from that blunder of Power Rangers, not playing too greedy. They push uphill very slightly, but as soon as there is a couple heroes to defend, they really back out and just spread out. They farmed up the enemy jungle a little bit. They now go through their Ancients, their own jungle, and they're going to be pretty happy as Plycat has 3,000 golds coming in.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he could actually get his Orchid still at a pretty damn decent timing.
What do you think about mech on Scarif Mage? We've seen this a couple of times in the past, but it's, usually it's sort of arcanes or threads, then you go like double nulls, 4 staff, something like that, just to give you the int you need to spam out Arcane Bolt in a team fight. Here, they don't have a mech carrier that would, really want to go one. You're getting the Aghanims up on the Cottle, the Beastmaster isn't going for, the old school Blink mech and arcanes into Greaves or something like that.
Right.
But Scarif Mage, very mana intensive. Maybe they just want to try and outlast Power Rangers, because they do initial hit that's super difficult to actually get through.
Oh, another Finish Swift. They're going to be able to pop him once again.
There's the hit.
Power Rangers strike in the same place twice. But going back to it, I like it just because the sustain, if you look at it, Power Rangers have this kind of lineup where they're looking to be able to just pick one hero off pretty quickly. Like, that's what the jump in of the Fisher and Echo Slam plus Sonic Wave is going to be all about. If they can offset that by having both the heal to keep light and a mech, I think they would be able to win fights. But they have to make sure they keep their Gyrocopter or Storm Spirit alive, who are most likely going to be the ones initiated on.
Right, Bambo. Can you deny Aegis? Can you steal Roshan here with the little Necro unit?
So
it doesn't look like you can. PR say, nope, no shenanigans from you.
Plycat's gonna jump in, Sonic Wave, get it laid out. Oh, the Aegis gets picked up on the PR, but still so much destruction. PR gonna drop 2 and the Aegis, and maybe Jackal's gonna go down as well. He is actually gonna turn onto the Skyearth Mage. Should be a pretty easy kill there. Now Ditchira comes back, slow down out of EGM. He's desperately trying to bring somebody in, but that won't be successful. And Power Rangers, that was not bad for either side. I mean, I think that was actually a very successful hold there from 4C&L. They took away the Aegis advantage. They got more Bloodstone charges on the Storm Spirit. And PR just cleaned up a couple of, small heroes on the side. Dazzle and Clockwork, that's not going to be too much of a hefty gold swing to your favor, so...
Yeah, like, by the metrics, it was a balanced fight, but then, like you said, the Roshan advantage. There's no Aegis now on the Quap or the PL, whoever they really wanted to throw on, because there's sort of that scramble moment where it's just take it, pick it up as quickly as you possibly can. And Storm got himself a bunch of Bloodstone charges there as well. It allowed Scarf to get himself mech. And 4C&L, these moves that allow them to push later on into the game, Phantom Lancer is still very difficult to deal with, but they've got mechanisms of handling him. Gyrocopter has BKB, now nearly SNY, and Storm has that Orchid. So they can jump the Phantom Lancer, who's... Whoa! BKB's being built up by Jack there.
Yeah, so he's just going for the kind of value Yasha. I don't mind that too much. I think that Manta really wasn't the item. It would just felt like a little bit odd that you already had Diffusal and Boots of Travel and you were still going to go back for the farming item of the Yasha when an early defusal is very clearly a fighting item build. But still, if he gets that BKB, he will be very unstoppable in team fights. The question is whether or not his team can log. Oh, good read there from Cheshire Cat. We'll be able to find Saxka.
Yeah, weave vision as well, just to make sure that they could try and get that little bit of information out. But hook shot used for the Scarith Mage. And you look at how aggressive the Dire Wards are over towards the Radiant Jungle. They really want that intel to see when Gyro Storm are farming. But Kotal, I could foresee him getting a gem pretty soon. He's got the Aghanim Scepter, so daytime, pretty much global vision. He's got a big arc of light around him. Dewarding is a lot easier here for 4C&L, and vision and intel gaining is also easier as well with the Hawk, with the Storm. The Remnant spams out, and Keeper of the Light ulti.
Do you agree with the Boots of Travel choice on the Beastmaster over the Blink Dagger?
I kind of like it the way that PR have been playing the past 10 minutes, right? Because they've been grouping up as 5, going for those, one-hit kills. They jump on the Gyro farming, so Beastmaster can, either A, bait out the hit and, tank the gank for the rest of his team,
right,
or he can be split pushing while they're aiming to go and, gank into the jungle. So he can be pushing top, he can be pushing down in bot lane, one of the side lanes, really. And if they know that PR are missing, and Phantom Lancer especially isn't farming one of these side lanes, they've grouped up to try and find somewhere elsewhere.
Well, we're going to have a very serious power spike for Power Rangers in probably the next 5 minutes. Oh, actually, never mind. I didn't even notice. I saw the BKB on the Queen of Pain, but I did not see the BKB complete on Jackal. So your power spike is now, I think, for Power Rangers. You most definitely should be trying to force a fight now, I believe.
Yeah, run towards tier 2s. They've just drawn on the map once again. Go for the large camp, guys. Let's try and find the Gyro.
Oh, Pycat, free pickoff? Very likely. And perhaps it's a bit too late. Cheshire Cat is already getting back to the rest of his team. And there wasn't a whole lot of map vision for 4C&L to have the kind of intel that would allow Pycat to fearlessly go for that clockwork and know it's a guaranteed kill.
The Hawk season, though.
J4, he jumps in. 3-man Fisher to start things off. Echo Slam onto 2, and Chantotem just controlling, and that's why time, but the hookshot miss. Oh, dear. Now, 60 Bambo, he's going to have the opportunity to turn things around. Cheshire Cat is going to be spotted and will be going down. Jackal will be able to get the return kill on a Sexy Bumbo. At the same time, there goes the Dazzle. Gyrocopter coming in. He needs some help. Tichira desperately coming in with the BKB, but it is fades. He tries to get out of this one. Still, though, where's our Storm Spirit? Pycat still has plenty of mana. Is he going to make a jump anywhere? Looks like he didn't even attempt to try and reach out, grab somebody. Now he goes in, finds Tichira, will be able to get that Orchid on him, and with the BKB down, Tichira surely dead? No!
Oh, do you commit for this now? Pycat keeps going out. There we have it.
Yeah, he finishes him off quite easily.
And a gem.
He'll be able to TP out.
Whose gem is that? It's Big Nums. So Kotal doesn't even have to buy one anymore.
That's going to be big. Keeper of the Light can now focus on another utility item. Can go back for the Force Staff they were talking about earlier. Maybe a Ghost Scepter or something. And Blink Dagger now for our Beastmaster.
Damn. Initiation of power.
Actually, I would love to see... looks like he is going to be going for the Force Staff, but I would love to see a Boots of Travel on the Keeper of the Light, given that they already have the Boots of Travel on the Beastmaster as well. If you have that Aghanims and always able to, let's see, what's the, not relocate, but recall.
And TP to Hawk as well.
Yeah, you could TP to Hawk, you can have the Beastmaster TP in as well, so you can instantly pull in the Storm Spirit. It would be like essentially a 2-man gang train out of nowhere. You know, I'm not going to include the Keeper of the Light in that gang train because, he's not going to be that good at battle, but...
It's a bearded old man. Maybe during the day...
Storm Spirit and Beastmaster, though, would be, certainly enough to be able to get a free pickoff.
Yeah. Oh... This Scarith Mage has more than once cut it really close. He goes on these sort of PGG warding missions where he just runs into the enemy third of the map. Up at top he did get caught by the hook shot. But just then, he's running towards the Roach Pit, towards the Ancients. He has no idea where anyone is. He has no vision of anyone.
He just gets torn apart. And 60 Bambo, he's actually going to be able to see... never mind. J4 comes in from the side. Fisher will be able to stop him.
Worth? Sure it is.
I wouldn't know. I would not say that's worth it. First of all, I would say, Clockwork already has the items that he needs. Let's be honest. Clockwork doesn't need much more than a Blade Bell. Obviously, you want Aghanims and those sorts of items, but it's not that big of a threat if you don't have them. Meanwhile, compared to where the gold went on the Beastmaster kill, which was went to the Queen of Pain.
Yeah.
Right? Like, that's going to be really valuable for her. So I would say just where the income ended up going into, much more valuable for Power Rangers.
Does Pycat know Earth is behind the Quap? I think he does. He's hunting for him. He's going to remnant in these trees to try and scout him out. He's not going to see him.
Yeah, he probably saw him from this ward right here.
Wait, when did Dyer's courier die?
Well, long jump in, Big Num. He's been caught. Jackal's going to come in from the side, but will never be able to burn that much mana from Pycat in time. Look at the absurdity of these illusions, though. Let's...
Phantom Rush for days.
I mean, he just zipped, like, I don't know, 2,000, 2,500 range or something, and just peel illusions. There.
They don't care.
All right, so Shiva's most likely for the Storm Spirit, really good versus the PL. And they may actually try and jump him here at this bottom lane. They'll probably assume that Pycat isn't quite ready to battle it out, given the amount of mana he used, but between his large number of Bloodstone charges, 16. Oh, look at that. I love that jump to the side. He figures there's going to be support sitting around Jackal, but now tries to jump on a Jackal himself. Can't quite get him with the Orchid, though.
Blinding Light. 16-second cooldown. Push back the illusions if you can. PR, they're on the hunt though. They want to try and catch someone, and that Scarlet Mage is a very tasty target, Jackal. Can you actually chase this down? He's hiding in the trees. Maybe a hook shot? They don't have vision.
And they could actually bring the Skywrath Mage. No, they're going to bring 60 Bamboo, but they could bring the Skywrath Mage in another 7 seconds and still have a full 5-man team fight. But looks like Radiant Side are content to sit back and continue to farm. If they finish up the Shivas and Butterfly and the Gyrocopter, you, I think, have countered the PL for probably a good 10 to 15 minutes. Like, his damage is going to be so heavily cut down by the evasion and the AoE slow.
I just wonder if he has to try and hold on to Doppelganger for... I guess he's got BKB as well. For the Blinding Light, because it is such an annoying spell when you do want to try and focus one target down. But then if you...
Here goes J4, call down, gets laid out. J4 actually manages to survive there, but he's got no mana. Big Num on the side is also going to be jumped on by Pycat. Orchid, not enough to finish him off, but another right click will be able to get it out. Dichira forced to BKB and run himself away. Jackal, meanwhile, uses his BKB and Doppelganger aggressively to be able to chase down Skyrim Mage. Oh! He just barely manages to get out there. Gyrocopter unable to finish him off, but still a great fight. I mean, they did lose their offlane Beastmaster for 2 supports, but the point being is they have a numbers advantage right in front of the enemy base.
And BKBs are on cooldown for the Dire as well. Quap and PL don't have those up and already, so pretty much it's going to be tier 3 here. I mean, Earthshaker doesn't have buyback. Oh, he does have buyback and Echo Slam. Oh, I wonder.
Sonic Wave, they're just going to see if they can push back 4C&L without having to use that buyback, and it looks like the answer is a definite yes. So, Radiant, again, not going to get too greedy here, are going to back up. They have their Shivas. They are about to finish up their Butterfly on the Gyrocopter. Things, I think, as a whole are looking still very good for 4C&L. 21-21, 35 minutes in, 7,500 gold lead for them.
How do you even keep vision up on the map as the Dire? You've got to kill the Keeper of the Light at some point to take that gem back, or you just gonna get...
Oh man, there's so much pick-off potential. Zip. Oh, Zip in is going to already be able to force that one out as he tries to TP away. Now the Roar is going to be able to stop that one, and they will just beat down Jackal. He's got a Doppelganger up in 1 second. His team is coming as well, but he's not going to make it. If he could have gotten the Doppelganger, maybe he would have saved by the Shallow Grave. Oh, hookshot going to miss there. Not even, maybe. Turn around. Orchid ultimate gets laid out, and they will finish off the Skywrath Mage. It does force out another BKB charge of Dichira.
And from the side, though.
Oh, the call down. Not really clipping too much. Dichira Cat, though, is just going to try and TP away. Pull back from Pycat, an additional stun as he runs out of mana as well. Dichira Cat definitely dead. And that now leaves a very obvious opening where 4C&L can push uphill and force out the buyback on the Phantom Lancer.
Yeah, Tower's on 206 HP. There's no glyph here. And I was a little bit worried about the fact that they were, running low on mana, running a little bit low on HP, but with Storm able to TP back, then get called, and maybe give the Gyro a little bit of love from the bottle, because you need that cooldown. You need the mana from the Gyrocopter to win this fight. Earthshaker has Echo.
Oh, if he kills the melee creep. Oh, wow. actually went over to J4. I was going to say, if the Queen of Pain killed the melee creep, he's got to be careful. The Storm Spirit jumping him. Of course, Big Num is ready to go with the Shallow Grave at any point in time, but it's still going to be the melee racks going down. I suppose they can't afford the Phantom Lancer to be shut down any further. Like, his net worth progression, he's got to get that Scotty. So they give up essentially the melee racks in exchange for him being able to hold on to his buyback. And I think that's a wise choice.
Yeah, they lost 1 racks up here, and they've got a decent way of dealing with it. You know, Fisher spam Shadow Wave to heal up their own creeps, and Quap can push it out as well. But if they are focused up on this top lane, where there's, you know, also a Sentry and Observer Ward and a Hawk scouting out any movement up here, Roshan's going to be a difficult task for them to control as well. So the Radiant probably just going to be trying, like, Pycat is shoving this wave as hard as he can, so he can open up the other lanes to get pushed by the rest of his team, and then they look into the Roche pit, because EGM scouted. Roche is up, guys. We can go take this soon.
And if Power Rangers continue to try and stick around that middle or bottom lane, they're going to lose their range racks, or they're going to get picked off by a Storm Spirit. 3k gold on Storm Spirit. Item next. Is it a Scythe of Ice, just that hard disable to be able to shut down the Queen of Pain or the PL when you found the real one?
I am not sure. Hex would be good against the Quap, then you've got Hex Orchid. Like, Storm builds are pretty sort of standard, you know, Bloodstone Orchid, and he's picked up another Mystic Staff here. We've, you know, very rarely see things like Lincoln's. Octarine Core is decent for the cooldown of your items and the Blood Suicide, but not really so much for your abilities, because they're such short cooldown anyway. Lifesteal is okay from him, but I think Hex is just the better all-round choice.
Oh, they knew. They knew that recall was going out. That was just low reactions from PR, particularly J4, practically running into the Beastmaster there, and unable to get any damage out in time before the blink out.
Like, the only other way you go with the Storm is you transition into that, like, DPS build we see from Queen of Pain's Storms from time to time. And you go for, like, MKB, something along those lines. You're not worried about PL getting Butterfly. There's no one else really here that's going to buy one.
Yeah,
so an AC maybe later on, but he's already picked up the Mystic Staff, so, you know, pretty much know he's going for the Hex.
Yeah, I would say the AC much more likely to go on a Gyrocopter. Just as you finish up, you go Satanic, and then you go for the AC as the last item, perhaps, just to be able to give you that final, like, uphill, game-ending sort of build.
They've got the Vlad over the Beastmaster now as well, so they've got that. They've got the little bit of bonus damage as well from this.
Oh yeah.
Is this PL's chance? And TPing in the Phantom Monster to mid. It's a little bit of a bait, but take a look at bot lane. Bambo just TP's in. He knows.
Hey, two-man Fisher to start things off. Sexy Bambo working on that tier 3 tower. Ditchy Raw is going to be taking that one. Oh, nice Echo Slam jump in. Going to be able to take out the 2 supports instantly. Soothending is left standing alone. Shalgrave on Big Num to make sure he survives through this one. Soothending certainly is dead. But Pycat, how many heroes can he clean up? Soothending finally goes down. Pycat jumps himself back out. But Sexy Bambo, he's going to be able to take a second melee racks here.
And range.
Power Rangers don't seem to care too much, but they are all low HP enough that Pycat might just be able to pick up some sort of kill. Goes for Jackal. Will be able to jump him and burst him down. Double kill as he now looks for more. Cheshire Cat pops a blade melt, but Pycat more than healthy enough to be able to tank this damage. Meanwhile, Sexy Bambo just finished off the range racks as well, and he's going to be able to get out disaster for Ditya Raw and the rest of Power Rangers.
Can Bambo blink Raw?
Oh yeah, he can. Blinks up, able to catch Ditya Raw, and Pycat just barely makes it over the cliff to be able to get the last right click in to finish him off.
That's it.
Good game, well played. Power Rangers know that this one is very over.
That was like the Bambo move of Bambo moves, honestly. Like, team, you know, a few of you might die in this excursion into the Roche pit, but you know what? I'm going to go and win the game for us. I'm going to TP to the bot racks. I'm going to take tier 3, take racks all on my own. And, yeah, we'll lose a couple of you in the process, but it's all worth it in the end.
Yeah.
The glory of Sexy Bambo.
Well done by Sexy Bambo and the rest of 4C&L, particularly Pycat. Doing a great job on that Storm Spirit, winning his lane. And even when he did die a couple times, he was always, you know, as you said, every single time he died, he was buying another item, working towards that Bloodstone. And even once he was down to 5 Bloodstone, he had that one great fight. And look at him now. I think towards the end of the game, he was like 20, 21. Yeah, maybe even 22. That was insane number that he racked up. So very well played by 4C&L, and they are now 1 game up over Power Rangers. This is a 2-game series, though, so we just have the second game that's left, and then after that, we'll be going into our second series of the night.